Magic Johnson is undoubtedly the best point guard that the NBA has ever seen. Not only due to his unselfishness, but his stature and his style of play is something that is truly admired still to this day in the NBA. Especially with the amount of three-point shooting in the league, I feel like Magic Johnson's style would truly thrive in today's game and age. And a Magic Johnson build in NBA 2K25 is a sure way to get a guaranteed head start against the opponents. So before we move any further, I just want to say thank y'all so much for tuning in. God bless every single one of you. And I gotta say thank the Lord above, King Jesus, for another day and another opportunity. Comment down TG for thank God and where you're tuning in from. And I will definitely be sure to get back to you with a response. So if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you know. Smash that like button. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the rich family. Now, when it comes towards this gameplay today, this is absolutely one of my favorite bigger builds to dribble with, considering that you can make this build anywhere from, I would say, about 6'7" up to 6'10". Now, I know 6'10" is the meta currently, but with a build like this one, it is really well rounded, and I will be sure to bring y'all 2 to 3 different versions, so be sure to stay tuned throughout the entire video. So for this first one, I really did want to focus mainly on the pass accuracy and also a little bit well-rounded on the offense as a whole. I think this build is perfect on this side, especially for the finishing, not because you can pretty much be a bully on the inside with that close shot, up to the driving dunk and driving layup. Everything's an 80, even including that post control. It's really going to allow you to be a threat on the interior and use it against smaller opponents, but when it comes towards the shooting itself, with the correct takeovers, you're definitely going to be able to green consistently. And I think that's been a trend this year, to be able to shoot with lower three-point ratings. And a 78 really isn't bad, even if you consider adding boosts. Now, as far as for that defense, I think the perimeter defense is good. Now, this is really to get that #1 comparison of Magic Johnson. The physicals and the rebounding, I think these are going to be perfect. I can say that whichever version of these 3 archetypes that I show y'all today that you do decide to make, you can even intertwine each of them and combine them to make your own style of player, build, and also just cater to what you want to do. Now, I really did want to focus on the finishing and the passing for this build, so on the actual archetype that I'm using is pretty much a mix of all 3 of these builds together. Now, this second version is going to be something special as well, so be sure to stay tuned for that. I got the timestamps down below, and I really want to know if there's a certain NBA player build that you want to see in the next video. Comment down below, and I will definitely be sure to make it happen for you. As far as for this archetype today, when it comes towards the finishing side, that is probably one of my favorite things about this kind of archetype. Not only are you able to get the contact dunks, but once you start to get double teamed, as well as getting defenses to drive in the post, you're going to be able to use your pass accuracy to your advantage and get an easy kick out. Now, the badges that make a huge difference are going to be Dimer, Break Starter. You know, you have the best passing styles available at your arsenal as well. And if you really wanted to change anything about this build to fit your own play style, that is definitely okay. Now, if you want to get that #1 comparison of Magic Johnson, the version that you will want to make is going to be #1 or #3. But as far as for the second one coming up, I'm telling you, this is where it gets even better on the offensive side, because it's really going to allow you to see just how well you can shine inside of the post. Not for being a post scorer, but being able to get those contact dunks and finish on defenses. I think this has been one of the funnest and honestly interactive builds that you can use. And I think truly this is going to be an archetype that can really embody every single thing that Magic Johnson did, from the playmaking, offense as a whole, down to the defense. And considering with these defensive stats, you're still going to be able to get some stops, and that's something that I really did want to focus on. Now, I think the height is really going to make up an advantage for that. So even if you wanted to go up to, let's say, about 6'10", you know, a lot of archetypes do unlock a good amount of attributes at that height. And I can say for this build, you will still be able to pretty much get a majority of the main attributes from whichever version that you do decide to make. Now, the main thing about the takeover is that I really wanted to pick one that does unlock sharpshooting marksman ability. And I think that really does allow you to green consistently, especially out of an archetype like this. You know, a 78 isn't bad. If you want to raise it to the 80s, that's definitely okay. But regardless, you're still going to be able to green. And if you want the jump shot that I'm using in this video, let's go ahead and get this one to 100 likes, and I will definitely be sure to drop you a part 3. Regardless, on this archetype, you're going to be able to do everything from be a threat on the inside, especially when it comes towards driving. Now, I'm not too much worried about the post scoring end because this is going to be a build that can actually run your main point guard. And as far as for being the playmaker on your team, I wouldn't worry because being the fact that you are taller, it really does give you an advantage when going up against lockdowns, and it really doesn't allow you to get bumped as well. I think you can use that height at an advantage. Now, the defense is also something that I've grown to like on this build. Considering that you are taller than most players, I can say especially guards, this is going to be one that you can really harass ball handlers. You know, this build pretty much has everything, especially with that style of play from Magic Johnson back in the day. And you know, that physical play is something that I feel like it's truly missed in today's game and age. You know, since Magic Johnson came from an era that was much tougher than what we're seeing today, it really just shows you how special of a player he was, not only to be considered the GOAT of his time, but to still be considered and talked about to this day, man. I'm telling you, it's really something unique. You know, Magic Johnson's personality and also his uniqueness is something that is missed amongst the league, I think myself. I think we need more of that, and if we're brought back into the league, I think truly that would be something special, not only for fans, but players as well. Now, this is going to be a build that can also really thrive in team settings, especially if you take it into the 3s or the 5s, the rec, the pro-am. This is going to be a build that you can really dominate in all settings, and I can say, if you were to even lower the pass accuracy just a little bit on any of these versions and put it more towards your shooting or even the finishing itself, possibly even the defense, you're still going to be able to get the same result that you're seeing from the gameplay on screen. You know, I can also say in NBA 2K25, I feel like point forwards are a dying breed, especially with true point guards. And that actually breaks this stigma with this build. It does give me that feeling of being a point forward. And I can say back in the OG 2K days, the 6'10 point forwards from 2K15 were something that were truly just an amazing build, all around one of the best that you can possibly make. And we're getting a small glimpse of that today in NBA 2K25. You know, to replicate Magic Johnson's playstyle is something that I've actually seen a lot of success with this year. His unselfishness is really something that I think not only correct random players need to take into account, but really need to implement into their game, man. Any randoms game mode, it seems like every player in any type of random setting is really selfish this year. And I try to, you know, break that stigma with this archetype to spread the ball a little bit better. And 9 times out of 10, man, I promise you it's always going to work out in your favor, especially if you're creating a build that's going to cater towards your own play style. Now with this one, I went a little bit more catering towards my finishing and passing. You know, I wasn't focused primarily on the ball handle because I know how to dribble with lower ball handle ratings. And if you want a little tutorial of how to actually dribble like I'm showing y'all on screen, I'll go ahead and put a little link with a pop-up card in the description and right on screen so you can go ahead and check it out. So thank you for watching up to this point. And you know, I'll be sure to get y'all right with a part 3 once we get this video to 100 likes. This has definitely been my favorite team player build to use, not only because of the finishing itself, but the fact that you have the fastest passing styles makes a huge difference for your team as a whole. Now, when it comes towards using this build, the biggest advantage I gotta say has gotta be the finishing, man. The contact dunks that you get on it are just nasty. On top of that, the passing combined it together, man, it really makes this, I would say it feels like a point forward from NBA 2K21 days, also 2K23. You know, this is an archetype that can really thrive in just about any setting. You know, something that I've also noticed about this build on defense is that the height is going to be playing the biggest factor, regardless of the attributes that you do put on. I'm telling you, height plays the biggest factor, not only in the post, on the perimeter. Magic's play style is really one that's going to thrive in NBA 2K25 this year. You know, I got another video just like this one for y'all tomorrow. And if there's a certain build that you want to see next, or NBA player, let me know down below in the comments section, and I will definitely be sure to put that together for y'all in the next one. You know, trying out all these different NBA players this year is something that I feel like it really keeps NBA 2K25 fresh, especially with the amount of pro play animations. I think you're really able to recreate some of the best gameplay from NBA players themselves this year, even when it comes towards playing online, it feels really smooth. Now, once you do learn the mechanics of the dribbling, the main thing that you really need to focus on is letting the actual animations play out, learn how to combine them. You're going to be able to see exactly and replicate what you're getting from me today. So I just want to say thank y'all so much once again, the Rich family, and just know that none of this would be possible without our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So I just gotta say thank him for another day and another opportunity. And if you want to run it up together, be sure to add me. Y'all see my PSN and 2K name down below. And if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Smash that like button. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family. And last but definitely not least, with all that being said though, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.